Hello, everyone. This is Bruce Skimmer with Strategic Selling for Success. And I'm sitting here with Leo Marquez from Verizon. Hi, Leo.
Hey Bruce, how are you?
I'm doing well, my friend. Leo, if you would please share with us what is one of the most important reasons that an advisor would select you as their provider of choice?
Yeah, it's absolutely. So Bruce, the one thing that a lot of folks know about Verizon is that we're a network company and we do award-winning networks for connectivity in the wireless and wireline space. Now, what most people fail to recognize is that we've been in the cybersecurity business for almost 3 decades now. So these networks that we've been building out for 25, 30 years at this point are all around the world. And because of that reach and that breadth of equipment all over the world, we have access or visibility to, I don't know, 70 to 80% of the world's IP traffic. So the reason why you'd want to turn to Verizon for security services is because we have decades of experience and visibility to understand what are the threats that are happening in the industry and how to protect our customers from them. We've been publishing the data breach investigation report yearly for the last 15 years, and we use that data and feed it into our own tools and our own resources to protect our customers' network as well.
That's powerful. We have a very strong network that exists out there. And with that said, what are some business challenges that you solve and how?
Yeah, absolutely. We tend to work sort of horizontally. We have a lot of tools and solutions that we can provide to our customers. The best approach is to really get an understanding of where your customer sits today, what is their current posture, and whether they need specific tools to protect their business, right? Things like DDoS protection or MFA or EDR. So there's all the tools that they would need to protect their environment. Um, we can do that. But I think where we spend a lot of our time is on the front end, trying to see what their vulnerabilities are. So we can do vulnerability testing or penetration testing. These are recommended that to be done yearly. And by the way, our pen testing can range. We have the standard internal, external, but we can do even ransomware simulation, physical pen tests, or red or purple team operations if your customer is really interested in elevating their posture. And then all the way in the back end, in case something happens, we have a very experienced team of incident response professionals that can, be on a call with your customer within minutes, or in person within 24 hours in over 100 countries around the world. So definitely we can meet upfront looking at vulnerabilities and threats. We can provide the tools to help the business become more secure, or we can help respond to the actual breach or ransomware on the back end.
Wow. So, Leo, you gave us a lot of things to consider to make a business as secure as possible. What are some of the best customer types or verticals that you work with and why?
Yeah, absolutely. And because of the amount of solutions we're able to provide, we do work sort of horizontally. But I think the healthcare space specifically has been pretty hot over the last couple of years. Traditionally, this is an industry where most breaches happen by misuse or error. But if you look at the data breach investigation report over the last couple of years, active hacking has been increasing in the healthcare space. So the bad guys realize that this industry was traditionally not as secure as they need to be, and they have a lot of sensitive information. Think of all of the HIPAA compliance, think of all the CPNI, think of all of the personal identifiable information that you can get from a hospital or another healthcare organization. And definitely this is a space where cybersecurity is a hot topic. So I would spend your time, anytime you have with the healthcare organization, bring this up. It's definitely important to them.
Absolutely. So if you have any healthcare customers that exist in your portfolio today, give Leo and Verizon a call. Well, we did a report last year. It was called the AppDirect Small Business Software Trends Report. And we found that there are many SMBs that are turning to SaaS and other cloud-based software to power their digital transformations. And they're looking for help to adopt, scale, and optimize their solution stacks. With that said, Leo, what role does Verizon play as far as your technology is concerned in helping businesses with this digital transformation and adoption of the cloud?
Yeah, absolutely. So the cloud is growing. More and more folks are depending fully on the cloud. And we do have tools in our arsenal to help customers migrate. So that's one. But in terms of security, we, the more your customer expands their environment or their domain, the more tools they're going to need to protect those environments. And the job of a security professional is going to be to investigate all of the flags, all of the alerts generated by these tools. So not only can we provide some tools to help your customer protect themselves, but more specifically, there's a managed SIM service, right? So a managed detection and response solution that we can provide as a service, as an OpEx model, that will help tie in all of your customers' existing security tools, things like their gateway products, their EDRs, their MFA, their Active Directory, and put in one pane of glass. So they're able to manage all of the security alerts from all of their different tools from one place, and they can make some contextual sense out of it all. Because an alert just from your firewall may not mean much, but if it's correlated with your EDR and your email filters, and it's all driven by the same user, well, something's fishy is going on. And you can see that really simple from a managed SIM type of solution.
Yeah, absolutely. Managed SIM is something to consider. When we're out there in the field, what are some great open-ended questions that we could use to leverage and position you?
Yeah, so there's a couple of them that I always fall back to. So I like to keep it really simple, really conversational. Security does not have to be intimidating. I ask every customer, basically, tell me about your environment and tell me about your security posture. And what I'm looking for really is, how many users do you have and what do you do to secure them? I'm looking for all the tools that they're going to name, and any service or solutions that they may have. The thing that I like to tell the folks that I work with is, you don't always have to understand the answer. So just take note of how many things that they have, because the more names that they name to you, the more security is important to them. So they're going to name things like their email filters, their endpoint protection services, their gateway solutions, everything else. And all you need to do is, other than take notes, obviously, just ask a follow-up. Say, hey, out of all of this, what's next? What are you looking to supplement something else, or are you looking to replace something that you have today? What's working, what's not working? And you'll be surprised. That's going to open up a whole other set of conversations, right? Just 2 questions you can spend 30 minutes on very easily. Now, I like to take it a step further. And some folks may tell you, hey, you know what? I think I'm set. I got everything I need, which, by the way, you can never achieve 100% security, but they may say that. So then you just ask, how often do you test these tools? How often do you test the ability of these tools to do their job? And what I mean by that is vulnerability scanning and penetration testing, right? So anytime your customer implements a new security tool or changes their environment, it's recommended to do a pen test to see what vulnerabilities there are in place and what could be exploited, and how far a threat actor would be able to get into the environment. So that's sort of the top 3 questions. If you want to put a cherry on top, I would follow up with, hey, that's awesome. You do a lot of things in this space, but what is your plan if you get hit with that green screen of ransomware, right? So what do you do when you get a note in your computer saying that you got to pay 50 Bitcoins? And that's where our response capabilities come in. So we do have a team of incident response professionals that we can very, very easily, give to your customer to basically help them with ransomware or breaches or anything in between.
You gave us a lot of
long-winded, but those are 4 questions.
You gave us a lot of great questions to go out there and use, because you're right. Many customers will think that they're safe and they say they're all set. And that it's great questions to get some information on, especially about the pen test, is when was the last time you did a pen test? And what gaps did you find, if any? Let's talk about that. So with that said, our last question for you, Leo, is what are some other solutions or products that complement yours best, and why?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And I think the easiest way to transition, if you're working already with another project, is internet. So if you're selling a circuit, if you're talking about internet services, especially if your customer has mission critical servers that need to maintain uptime, DDoS protection is a very easy transition to talking about security, right? So how are you going to secure that internet connection from bad traffic? That's something that we can easily get involved with. And other than that, any other changes that you're implementing to your customer's network or environment, think, VoIP or anything in between. The best practice is to perform a vulnerability scan or a penetration test every time you perform a change in the network, right? So when your customer changes anything in their domain, let's make sure and do a test against it to make sure that no vulnerabilities popped up, nothing was misconfigured, nothing was changed for the worse in terms of security. So those are very easy conversations to have if you're working on a separate project to start that conversation.
Now, Leo, thank you so much. You gave us some great information about security, which is so important because customers always think they're secure, and many of them have many gaps that could expose them to vulnerabilities. So, team, go out there and position security. And who do you want to think of? Leo Marquez with Verizon. Leo, thank you so much.
Thank you, Bruce. Happy to be here, and hopefully we'll talk a lot soon.
Bye-bye.